Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Links with Friends. Today is July 18th? 18th.
We just talked about
We
it.
literally just did, and I forgot. Robot and nonsense.
We popped up the big calendar. We commented on how.
Oh,
the
yeah. I
calendar
was like,
great.
I was too busy thinking about how great it is that the UI is huge so I can see it, and I didn't actually register the number.
Well, that's not the only thing that's great. This is some great news, man. Microsoft is doing great, and boy, do they deserve it.
Microsoft touts $500 million in AI savings while also slashing jobs.
Getting rid of all those people really did save us a lot of money.
It works. Congratulations. I wonder how many of those people are going to buy Microsoft licenses and products now that they're unemployed.
I know more than one person who has been at Microsoft for more than 10 years and they got laid off, and they're varying levels of salty about it.
Well, Microsoft is benefiting not necessarily from their own accomplishments here, but their relationship with OpenAI. But how healthy is that relationship?
Oh, this one's fun. This is one we should talk about. Ars Technica. What is AGI, Artificial General Intelligence? Nobody agrees, and it's tearing Microsoft and OpenAI apart. Microsoft and OpenAI are having a spat, and you should read this.
I hope we get Thanksgiving drama like last year.
It's really interesting. We don't know for sure, but we're pretty sure, based on shareholder calls and everything else, that OpenAI and Microsoft have this agreement that they've had for, 6-7 years now? That when AGI is achieved, they go their own separate ways, and Microsoft will have all the rights to the technology that OpenAI developed up till then, but OpenAI will go off on its own after that. But then elsewhere in the contract, AGI is defined as it's making $100 billion in revenue for Microsoft,
Which I've pointed out before. Hyperinflation can make that a reality without actually achieving anything.
So that's what I think the spat is about. Don't you think that's what it's about, really? Is that...
Yeah, this is all business. This has nothing to do with AGI. This is just them fighting over their contract.
Well, I mean, like today, like next year or 6 months from now or 18 months from now, like it's probably on the horizon that OpenAI is doing that for Microsoft. And so they're like, hey, we're coming up on $100 billion. That's going to end our relationship, right? And you can just go and, do whatever. You're making $100 billion. You just said you saved $500 million laying off people with our tools, right? So, $100 billion can't be far behind.
And OpenAI is also trying to make their own browser right now. Like they're stepping on Microsoft toes.
And the general word is very debatable, right? Like the general human, kind of dumb.
See, also the AI slop videos that makes me weep for humanity.
Yeah, so what kind of human do we measure against here? And is it a human who's good at one thing or a Renaissance man? Does AGI have to be a Renaissance AGI?
So it sounds like Microsoft is trying to define AGI to be something other than that 100 billion revenue target. And if that's true, then I think that Microsoft is close. Like Microsoft couldn't argue that they're not making $100 billion from their OpenAI investment, which is wild to think about. I mean, isn't that... Because if Microsoft... Like, why even debate what the contract says for AGI? It's like, okay, OpenAI, it is $100 billion. We agree on that. But if they're nowhere near making that much money from OpenAI, then what is there to disagree about?
Well, we see this now more and more often, and you would think that maybe just in the early days, some people would do it and get smacked on the wrist, and they did. They got smacked on the wrist, but it's not stopping because people love to take the path of least resistance.
Georgia court throws out earlier ruling that relied on fake cases made up by AI. So this is a ruling where nobody noticed until after the fact, and then it's like, wait, we're going to have to appeal this. Oh, this case wasn't real at all, or this case wasn't real, and this case wasn't real. Oops. Then they have to throw it out.
Also, this is a divorce case, and the woman was suing to say, no, you can't divorce me. So now she got her way. What kind of household is that? How uncomfortable.
Love you, honey. And then it just slams the door.
That's one of my favorite. I can't remember which comedian does it, but they talked about it's like, imagine how awkward the Roe versus Wade kid's relationship with his mother was. Because that guy's out there now. And scientific papers. It's bad news. We got two really bad pieces of news about scientific papers.
Massive study detects AI fingerprints in millions of scientific papers. I was really skeptical about this until I read it because, there's AI fingerprints in the Declaration of Independence and blah, blah, blah.
And people also think everything with an M dash is AI generated, and it's like some people just like to use other punctuation.
But maybe this 13.5% of papers have some kind of something.
And this is not an academic paper. Actually, I misspoke. This is just a book they're trying to sell you. And it's ironic because they're trying to teach you how to do this thing by making up things that never happened about that thing.
Superior Nature book on machine learning is full of made-up citations. And they actually emailed the author for this write-up to ask, hey, this person that you attributed this to says that they never wrote these papers. What's going on? And the author of the book said, I'll get back to you in a week or two. Meanwhile, the person that's cited by the book says this is totally hallucinated insanity.
Some of the books were real, but the page references did not reference anything about machine learning. So, who knows? And robots are taking over the sports world as well, and the people are not happy about it.
Tennis players criticize AI technology used by Wimbledon. So this is trying to figure out if the tennis ball is in or out. And the tennis players say, it's really terrible. Let me give you some examples. And they were able to come up with some examples where on the TV replay, it certainly looks like the AI called it wrong.
Also an interesting one, there's a deaf professional tennis player who's at Wimbledon, and the line judges use hand signals, but the robot does not have hands. So she had no idea what her score was the entire game until she looked at I guess they have like a marquee or something.
That's sad.
And ChatGPT will make stuff up, but in some cases, I guess maybe the things it makes up are worthwhile.
ChatGPT hallucinated about music app Soundslice so often, the founder made the lie come true.
So this is sheet music, but there's a simplified form for like guitar and other stringed instruments, which is ASCII tablature. And people would ask, like, hey, if I buy this software, will this, because this is all over the web, you get this for any kind of song. And ChatGPT was like, it'll absolutely do that. Yeah, it's great at that.
Doesn't do that.
It does now.
Well, yeah, it was not part of the base feature set.
That's a good idea for software, too. Both versions, both the real one and the imagined one.
That's like a project manager who's like, the client asks for something and then they're just like, yeah, you can do that.
Oh, sure.
It takes no time.
That's so easy. And if you're looking for a little bit of an escape from all this darkness and you want to just get out of your head for a little while, well, maybe don't use AI for that.
People are using AI chatbots to guide their psychedelic trips. This is obviously written by someone from California.
Why would you say that?
Because of the drug trips.
You don't think people aren't tripping the nationwide and worldwide?
Nationwide.
I don't think people are looking to combine AI chatbots in their psychedelic. Like, I think that proportionally it's going to be in California.
This is people in the AI cult who are like, yes, this is good. Bring on the New World Order.
You know what people in Eastern Kentucky use to guide their acid trips? Teddy Ruxpin.
And yeah, this is obvious. We talk about this constantly, but it's just good to have a little reminder because this is the most important thing that you have to keep in mind when you're dealing with commercial AI.
AI sycophancy, the downside of a digital yes man. Yes, everybody should read this because you talk to the AI and eventually it's convincing you to just do insane things.
Or you're convincing it to change the facts. It doesn't want to make you angry, and it will change reality to try and whatever goal they gave it to make you happy and engage with you. It'll do whatever it takes.
I have noticed with Claude when I'm like, this is wrong and you should feel bad for sending me down this path, that it does remember that in future conversations sometimes.
Sometimes. And when it doesn't, you don't know.
You can tell it to cut that out, and it will for a little bit, but it'll go back to it.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, if it's modeling that behavior because that's what the tech CEOs like. They don't like people who tell them no. And so, like, these products are, like, based in their image.
I could see that, yeah. I could see it's like, oh, we built an absolute truth machine. Try it out. And I'm like, no.
No. I want it to tell me what I want to hear.
This can't be an absolute truth machine because it said I was a loser.
How insane is that, though? The joke from Futurama is like Dr. Farnsworth made the machine. It's like you stick your finger in, and it's like, oh, you can be a plumber, or you can be a janitor, or you can bag groceries. Good luck. Also,
with the whole Grok controversy that's going on, that's why That's what's causing it. Grok is willing to tell you whatever you want to hear if you let it know what you like. And maybe you want to get away like actual...
Or again, it's based in the image of the CEO.
You know what Hertz likes to hear? Money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're trying to escape and you're not just a digital escape because that's been ruined, you want to actually go somewhere, well, be careful about renting a car.
Hertz AI scanner charges $350 for tiny dings on rental, and this is going off the rails. So this is somebody who got charged, and they tried to appeal it, and the pictures were... and the pictures made it seem like it wasn't really a big deal, and but they were still charged a bunch of money. So it's like they're taking pictures of the car before and after, and it's like, this is normal wear and tear on a car. I don't know what you want.
Pictures, but like a full scan, like
Yeah.
a deep scan of the vehicle. And if you've not lost faith in Grok, there's a new form factor.
Grok AI to be available in Tesla vehicles next week, Musk says. But for whatever you do, don't let it drive the vehicle.
You can just listen to its deranged ranting as you drive.
And here is something that sadly feels more and more real every day. And I know it's like, well, that can't be the case, right? But gosh,
Welcome to the humanities, baby.
we're getting here. We're getting here.
Coding is dead. University of Washington computer science program rethinks its curriculum for the AI era. I thought this was alarmist and sensationalist, but no. They talked to some students from the computer science department that have just graduated or are getting ready to graduate. And AI and coding tools for that is sort of a big part of the curriculum there.
And they figured out that you're kind of wasting your time with the syntax and all that stuff. Now, hopefully, the architecture level of it, like experience, will still matter.
I hope so.
But I don't know.
A fun thing you can try with your large language model that it's going to fail at is lambda calculus.
And over in Ukraine, things have heated up, bizarrely. There seems to be more and more air attacks with drones and such, and eventually they'll shoot them down and take a look at them, and what they found is a little disturbing.
Ukraine uncovers NVIDIA chip in Russian drone, turning it into a digital predator capable of autonomous targeting and engagement. It was the NVIDIA Jetson Orin. So that computer, which has a fair bit of processing capabilities, they had repurposed for munitions.
So that is a GPS-independent fleet swarm vehicle which communicates with its brethren and is a suicide vehicle.
And doesn't require remote control, so jamming and that sort of thing doesn't matter. It's just like, here's your general parameters of your mission, go. And the thing in that is smart enough to do that.
But is it smart enough to make the right decisions every time?
Probably not.
That's the really scary.
But that's somebody else's problem because it's not in your territory anymore.
Well, this is in your territory. It's right out there on your curb. It's your dirty, dirty secrets, and somebody's going to be looking at them.
AI-enabled trash structure will scan your trash to scold you about recycling. Now, this is dystopian for a reason the article author didn't realize, which is the AI is scolding you for not doing work that the AI apparently is smart enough to do, which would be a great use of AI's time.
I'm thinking of
yours.
it like looking at your trash for like anything, quote, incriminating.
Sure, right. That's not how they're selling it. They're selling it as recycling. What happens if it doesn't like what's in your recycling? You'll get this postcard. So your mailman also knows what you're up to.
Well, your mail bot. We won't have mail people for much longer.
But if the AI can do this, the AI can just go ahead and sort the trash.
They're going to be going through your trash looking for stuff that you did wrong.
And I thought for a minute this was the repeat of the heart one we saw, but no, this is a gallbladder.
Yep.
And so we have another amazing robot doctor.
Robot performs realistic surgery with 100% accuracy in a major leap. So this was gallbladder surgery. They did it on pigs, but the surgeon was hooked up to a large language model, and you could just talk to it, and it was autonomous.
And they did little things to try to screw with it. At one point, they pumped dye through the veins so that the organs changed colors. And the robot was fine with that. I am getting buried alive in scam calls today. Actually, that's not a
I
scam call.
almost never get scam
You
calls.
can pause if you want.
No, it's all right. Well, no, it's all right. Well, it won't be too much longer. And, yes, autonomous robots with an uplink, a Starlink, can do whatever they want.
Starlink-powered drone narco-sub. That's a string of words that's unique to 2025. Intercepted by Colombian Navy. Boat was converted into a drone for uncrewed smuggling. So there was a lot of drugs, a lot of drugs. But this article talks about how drug cartels are happy to not involve people in this kind of thing anymore.
There were no drugs. That was a dry run.
Oh.
So there was no human. There was nothing in that. It was just to see if it would work. It did work, but it got caught. So they will adjust.
How many
there.
others didn't get caught, though?
That's a good question. And when it comes to AI replacement, you might be laughing with your blue-collar job, with your construction and plumbing experience. Well, don't laugh too soon.
South Korea's construction rivals join forces to automate job sites. This is kind of what I saw with like Siemens and Ansys and those companies, like, oh, those rivals coming together. Construction companies coming together because this level of automation means that their profit margins can be through the roof.
Tiny little X there. And here's a new product. If you want to have a robot friend,
This made me angry.
Not very functional, but it's cheap.
Hugging Face just launched a $300 robot that could disrupt the entire robotics industry by just making it easier and more accessible to build your own language models.
Yeah, so you click the video, and like one of the top comments on the video was literally someone just being like, so what's the use case for this? And they're like, I'm sure you could think of one. They literally responded. And I was like, so why would I pay $300 for this?
Well, the way they sold it in the article is...
and they sold it hard in the article.
Get a vision system.
It teaches you how to interface with a robot without you having to spend $30,000.
Right.
Basically. It's a learning tool. And we have some really impressive looking robots and performing robots, all the points of articulation and balance and everything. And those apparently were not good enough at this job. So what do? We went really basic.
Army tests robotic coyotes to defend fighter jets.
Speed is what they discovered was the critical point here. They got one of those spot knockoffs, and they found that the birds and other animals were not afraid of it because it was too slow. Mm-hmm. So fast-moving fake coyotes seem to be the sweet spot.
These look like the robots we build in Mars Logistics. But with just a coyote put on top of it.
And the Chinese have figured out how to do something impressive in space, but some people are worried that this might not be the use case they actually have in mind.
Chinese satellites complete first high-altitude rendezvous for possible groundbreaking refueling. We don't know because China hasn't really said exactly what they did, but we saw two satellites come together and they seem to stay together, and we think it was a test refueling mission. But we don't actually know.
They kissed.
Could
Pick which one.
Could be a weapon system test. Like you could have one satellite arbitrarily latch onto another satellite in order to steal its secrets or whatever.
Maybe they're planning on making that Buc-ee's, space Buc-ee's. They're like testing the refuel.
Wouldn't refueling be a romantic encounter?
Yeah. I guess so, yeah.
That's like,
If Futurama taught us anything.
Put the nozzle in the hole. And we've moved to nonsense, which should be obvious from this.
Man charged with beheading his father says he was trying to perform a citizen's arrest.
And his hand slipped?
This is in Pennsylvania. This is just sad.
He said he knew that the beheading would prompt the government to take him seriously about the treason that his father had committed. Yeah.
He looks really satisfied with himself in that picture.
Yeah, he's not experiencing the same world as the rest of us. And if you were taking a fun 4th of July vacation in Florida and decided to do one of the little tourist activities, you may have had a little bit of a detour.
Man with a meth pipe accused of stealing tourist train and taking passengers for a ride and before telling cops it's my birthday. He also said it was a marijuana pipe for what it's worth. But
yeah, that makes it better.
57, man. We're getting to the point where the meth problem is a lot of old people. Mm-hmm. How do you survive to 57 when you're a heavy meth user?
Maybe you started with other drugs and then worked your way up. Okay. It took a couple years.
You do the digging and it turns out that he was laid off last year because of some AI consolidation.
If you get laid off because of AI, meth is not the answer. I'm pretty confident about that. Now, if you have some stuff laying around at home, a great way to get rid of it, declutter your house, take it to the Goodwill. They got a big bin, you can just dump almost anything in it. Almost anything.
body found inside a donation bin at Goodwill store in Southern California.
I can't imagine what the thought process there was. Like, if you want to put it somewhere where it wouldn't be discovered, wouldn't just an average dumpster be safer?
Or did somebody climb in for safety and then had a bunch of crap?
No, it was wrapped.
Oh.
Bound
Oh.
and wrapped. They knew what they were doing. They had
What a
prepped it.
weird. Yeah, that actually seems. They wanted to be discovered.
And some communities are in bad shape. And a lot of people don't like to talk about it, especially people in power, local politicians and such. And when this happens, they get very upset that someone is pointing out how bad things are.
Quote unquote, I buy crack houses. Investor stands by his controversial Cleveland billboards. The Cleveland City Council was not happy about this. They're like, there's a lot of other things you could say. But then they for the news article, they reached out to him and he's like, oh yeah, no, I will totally buy because we can rehab the crack house into be reasonable, low cost housing.
Into a crack home.
That's a better slogan.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Taking your crack house and turning it into a crack
That should
home.
be the title of the episode. Now, would we get penalized for that? Probably would, right?
I don't know.
I mean, it's not on the main channel, so the strikes don't matter quite as much, but it's still probably not a good precedent to set.
Well, it is summer, and that is high time for car shows and motorcycles and all things of that nature, and you can go and enjoy them. But sometimes the venue might surprise you where you're going to go see your fancy cars.
Not the venue for it. Car show at Union County Cemetery disappoints families. They were not enthused by this.
Maybe not the way to show respect for the dead.
When I took a journalism class when I was in high school, one of the things was like you got to do video cameras and like you could do media and stuff. And one of the things was like, I think we had to do like a music video. It might have just been a media class. And in the project brief, there was a thing that was like, do not film at the cemetery. Like it had been enough of a reoccurring problem over the years that they made sure to put it in the syllabus.
And I love all the new Barbies. We have so many new Barbies now representing. This one is, I guess it's good if your kid has this or whatever, but it's kind of hilarious.
Barbie launches the first doll with type 1 diabetes.
So she's got
She's got her monitor. Yeah.
How visual how would you tell visually? Yeah, she's got her little monitors, and she's also got the arm monitor.
Oh, I've never seen the arm monitor. I had some friends who were diabetic and like they had the thing on, but like they usually just put their shirt over it so you couldn't see it.
And I want to just, Barbie from the 70s could have been a type 1 diabetic, and you wouldn't know. It's the march of technology. This is really like cyborg Barbie.
Yeah, there's no visual indicator. If they just gave her some sleeves, she wouldn't have any purpose for existing. And this is an interesting one. Somewhere in China, they have a theme park about prehistoric man, is what I understood from this, right?
Yeah.
And they want, quote unquote, NPCs, and they want real, good, excellent
Convincing.
acting.
Want to howl and eat raw food for work? A wild man job in Chinese national park goes viral. They pay you, I think, $89 a day. Was that American dollars? It said S dollars, so maybe not.
And now you have to bring your own food. You're supposed to dress like a wild person. You cannot speak any language. The only thing you can say is woo, woo, woo.
Oh.
But you are encouraged to interact. And if the park goers want to hand feed you, you're encouraged to let that happen.
Can I kill the guests as I might have if I was a prehistoric man?
They might frown on that. Club the women over the head and drag them back.
Drag them away, yeah.
And over in Spain, they've had some scandals in politics, which has led them to create some, maybe what would people consider common sense rules.
Spain ruling party bars members from hiring adult workers. I don't know. If
I said prostitute.
Oh
in
yeah,
the earlier episode. So
from hiring sex workers. Apparently,
Yeah.
that's frowned upon in Spain. It's been a perennial problem. Apparently, is the feeling you get from reading this article.
And there's some evidence that the guy who has now created that rule to try to save his party has himself maybe dabbled. Yeah. Interesting. And we have to get used to robots narking us out on every single topic. But when you're flying, it's not just the robots, although I'm sure they'll help soon.
UK airport staff gets bonuses for spotting EasyJet oversized bags, email shows. So there are people losing their mind. There are videos of this where people are being told that their bag is too big, but it fits perfectly in the thing. And they're like, I don't understand why you're telling me that. Do you get a commission for that if you just say that? And it's like, we can just have you not fly. Like, they'll just, and it's like, okay, I guess I'll have to pay the oversized bag thing, but I want to know who you are. And like, here's a picture of my bag and it's fitting perfectly in the thing and I want a refund, because they get a commission when they charge more for bags, even when they're not oversized.
What do you get for that? €1. Or maybe it was a pound. That was not a lot. It was one of something. So the scale that they would have to catch people at to get something meaningful.
Catch people, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, they'll just bill everybody as they were doing.
There's also an EU legislation in the works to undo that charge, that you have to let people bring luggage onto a plane. So that might not be even a thing afterwards. Now, it is beach season. Do you guys feel beach ready this year?
I went tubing on a river. Does that count?
Well, did you go underwater at all?
No, you just stay in your little floaty and float down the river.
Well, that's good, because there was probably poop.
Nearly 2/3 of U.S. beaches saw fecal contamination last year. So they do the test, and it's like, oh, this is above the EPA recommended levels.
That we also just cut funding for, so don't worry about that. The problem will go away because we'll stop testing the water sources.
You know what's really crazy? I don't know why I thought of this, but it's like, I should just stop going outside. There was another...
You got to make sure this...
Oh, yeah. I don't know. There was another guy, so at the local barbecue place, I was going to get corn and a sweet potato and that sort of stuff, and ran into another person that was like, oh, yeah, no, I can't have meat. I got bit by a tick. And I was like, oh, my God, that's insane.
You should have started a group.
Yeah, I was like, what do you get from here? And it's like, oh, I get all the vegetables. And it's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Facebook group.
Yeah.
Now, you might think that's from people just like letting go in the water. No, that is sewage runoff. Mm-hmm. Sewage runoff is such a huge problem everywhere that our beaches are now filled with poop. Congratulations, we've done it. And this is a heartwarming story about a horse who just didn't give up. Now, interestingly enough, I don't think the horses have a choice about giving up.
Japanese racehorse famed for losing all her races sees surge in popularity after mobile game launch.
This is the horse girl game. Yeah. It's so funny. You raise and train your horse girl to race. So this horse lost every single race. This horse is now 29 years old.
They get pretty old.
And she's just, living her best life there. She had a Hello Kitty mask that was iconic during her losing days. She looks kind of wild-eyed there, huh?
The racehorses here don't get fancy ones like that. I mean, they might have like the little masks, but they're usually like a solid color.
That's why they'll never be a celebrity. And it's good to see when animals do rescues. This one didn't really do a rescue, but it did show undying loyalty.
Hiker in an alpine crevasse rescued by a chihuahua.
It drug him to safety.
So this is a hiker that fell down a crevasse, but he had a walkie-talkie, but they couldn't find him. But they did find his chihuahua,
who had dutifully stayed right next to it. Oh. Although in this kind of environment, what else was it going to do?
Shiver somewhere else.
It's a good boy or girl. And our favorite animal ever here on the Level 1 show is this little gal.
Thousands celebrate baby hippo Moo Deng's first birthday at the Thailand Zoo. It's grown a fair bit, although maybe not as much as I'd expected.
It's a pygmy hippo, right?
Yeah, it's not going to get that big.
Yeah.
They're small.
Probably will get a little bigger. But
120,000 people. They interviewed one woman who came from America, and she was like, yeah, I only get to spend 30 hours in this country, but it was still worth it.
Wow. That's commitment to Moo Deng.
So
I don't know if I would do that, but she is cute.
12,000 people. I'm sorry, not 120,000. That is a big number.
It should be 120,000.
That's true. Yeah. I was there in spirit, so they could maybe count me.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it until I read the article.
But I was.
They've got a live
Hertz
stream.
was there.
Yeah, I've watched their stuff before. Mm-hmm. She doesn't really do much, but it is funny when they turn the hose on her.
Yeah.
Have you watched her eat tomatoes?
Yeah, her eating. And they scratch her belly. That's fun to watch.
Cute. Well, so we had Fiona here, but I don't think she was a pygmy at the Cincinnati Zoo.
Don't talk to me about Fiona. It's only Moo Deng.
It's Moo Deng now, yeah. Okay. Well, that's it for the news this week and or L1 show. We will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.